That's so funny. Bro, I'm 4 pages in and I'm giggling, bro. I need a highlighter. I think it's gonna be this one. This one seems a little bit too dark. I'm gonna test it in one of my notebooks. It's more like a gray, and I kind of want a purple. Oh yeah, I'm gonna use this one. I do this one instead. I'm about to test it out. Oh, it bleeds through. That's crazy. That really bled through. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna use that one. I have to try this one out though now. Okay, I'll highlight this. Maybe I pressed too hard with the midliner one, but this one doesn't. I'm gonna use this one because this one doesn't bleed as much as my midliner did. But I've highlighted other books with my midliners and it's never really bled through like that. Look, you see the bleed through? And then over here, you can't even see it. So I'm gonna use this one. I think I also might have pressed too hard with this one, but I'm not gonna risk it. So I'm gonna stop reading here, even though I only got like literally 6 pages in, but I do want to annotate it. And this is the first book that I actually read physically in a while. So, and it's a Tessa Bailey book. And I feel like I'm gonna love this kind of almost as much as It Happened One Summer, or you know, like it's gonna go up there. But yeah, I set up my tabs as well. They're so cute. They match. I think if anything with my next physical read, I'll show you guys how well, honestly, I can just tell you now, I buy all of my tabs from Amazon, and then I just kind of rearrange the tabs to match whatever book that I'm reading, and then I will just take one of these clear ones from a previous one that was cleared, if that makes sense, and then I will just stick them on this one and put it in my book as my bookmark. And then for my annotating supplies, I have a lot of pens and I have a lot of highlighters, because I went through this phase where I bought a lot of pens and a lot of highlighters. But for this particular book, I'm using the Paper Mate Ink Joy Gel pens in 0.7 in this color. It's like a purple pink, and then I'm using this color, which it's like the purple one, but it's much darker, because this is like a dark purple, but this is like a lavender, you see? But this one's dark, and this one's dark, It's not a lavender because I tested it out and it just is not a lavender. Yeah, it's like a pinky one, and this one is like a purple, and this is like, that is so crazy. Why is it like that? Anyways, the first one is this one. The second one is this one, which is so confusing to me because it looks more blue than anything. And then this one is this bottom one, which now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'm not gonna use these at all. I'm gonna use this as my pen. I've already been using it, and this as my highlighter. This is gonna give me the purple vibe. This one is this middle one right here, and then with this pen. And yeah, that's how it's going. That's what I'm using to annotate my book right now, and this is what it looks like. This is what the pen is, kind of like a pink purple, and then this is the highlighter. This is the part I chose to highlight. This is the highlighter. It's like a purple. And then together, they look like this. And I think that's so cute. The colors don't mean anything. I usually don't assign anything to the colors as long as it just matches. And then I will just highlight and underline anything that I want to highlight and underline. There's not really no process. With fantasy books though, it's different, but we're not reading a fantasy. We're just reading a romance. And with romances, I just highlight and underline my favorite things. I think if I highlight and underline it, then I extra love it. So yes, I'm so excited to continue reading. This was fun. I will update you guys when I get more into the book. Hey guys, so I am back to give you my final thoughts on Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. You saw me start this book, and you saw me annotating this book. You saw me finishing this book. I tabbed and annotated the heck out of this book. So much so that the purple highlighter that I was using dried out. I had to switch to a different purple highlighter. That's how much I was annotating. I just had the absolute best time reading this book. It reminded me so much of the way that I felt when I read It Happened One Summer. Does it top It Happened One Summer and Tools of Engagement? I don't know. I would have to do a reread of It Happened One Summer and a reread of Tools of Engagement because those are top two of Tessa Bailey, and this one literally has made it up there. This is an absolute 5-star read for me. This was just everything that I wanted and more. This is a perfection of a book. It is. I love this so much. I picked it up on Friday, and then I was reading it during work, like breaks and lunch. And then after I got off work, I just read. Like, I got off work at 5 and I read up till midnight, and I had like 2 chapters and the epilogue left, and I was like, you know what, I need to get my ass to bed. So I just stopped right there, and then the next day I read like the last few chapters and the epilogue. I totally could have finished it like in one day that same Friday night, but I was so tired, especially because I was annotating it as well while I was reading it. So it was just taking me so much longer to read, but honestly, it's totally fine because I savored the fuck out of this book. I just took it in. I was giggling, I was smiling, I was kicking my feet. I was reading this, and I just had, like, there were so many moments where I had to stop reading it and like just take a moment and just like breathe, because I couldn't breathe with how much like I was just blushing and giggling and just absolutely loving this book. I was just like, this is so good. I'm just thinking about it still. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. This is advertised as an enemies to lovers, but to be honest, it's more hate animosity to love. It is a marriage of convenience, and it is between our heroine, what's her name? Natalie, and our hero, August. So Natalie and August do meet in the first book of this series. I did do a reading vlog for, I will link it up here for you guys to watch. This one tops that one. Just saying. This one, 5 stars. And they do meet in that first book, but we we do also see that they kind of leave off on the wrong foot, because we do have a scene where our heroine Natalie throws wine in our hero August's face, and then that's just kind of what we get. This is where the hate animosity comes from, and it starts off right away in this book, to be honest. It goes from like they have this one encounter where they're like bickering back and forth, and he is low-key a little bit mean to her, but when we are in his point of view, he is utterly obsessed with our heroine. He is literally a simp. He is a man obsessed. He is literally on the ground on his knees for this woman. He is wrapped around her finger, but he knows that he blew it, so they have this like tension with each other, and like there's still that physical attraction and the chemistry and all of that is still there. And essentially we have our heroine, she is trying to do a comeback so she can like go back to New York, because she actually came back to the hometown because she is a Wall Street girly and she did something and lost a company billions of dollars, and they like fired her, so she went back to her hometown, but she wants to earn her trust fund so she can open her own company back in New York. She wants to like, you know, level up. She wants to come back stronger, but she can't get her trust fund because she doesn't have a full-time job and she is not married. And then we have our hero. He is in this hometown because of his best friend wanted to open a winery, and because he lost his friend in war, August is a veteran. He wants to fulfill that dream for his friend Sam, but he makes terrible wine. He can't make wine to save his life. This is kind of a point of tension between the characters because his wine is just so bad, like it's not even drinkable, like people spit it out. He needs money, he needs investors, he needs a loan. So this is where the marriage of convenience comes in, because if Natalie marries August, then she can get her trust fund, and if August marries Natalie, then he can apply for a loan, especially because of the Natalie Voss name. And it goes off from there, and it is just absolutely perfection. There are so many scenes in here that I love. There are so many smutty scenes in here, like I also tabbed those. This was like one of the smuttiest ones that Tessa Bailey had. I think is just super smutty because it's almost 400 pages. It is 365 pages, and I wish it were longer, to be honest, like just because I love them so much. But yeah, it had nothing in here that I did not like, and there is no third act breakup. There's no third act breakup, and there was a scene in here that I almost teared up at, where they kind of fall into this argument, and I think it's also because we're in the hero's point of view, the way that he handles the situation. Like, y'all, why did I annotate this whole page? No, but yeah, that scene like almost brought tears to my eyes, just seeing it in the hero's point of view. And he is just such a simp, and he tries, you know, he tries for this marriage, and there's the my wife, and there's the nicknames and the banter, and there's a lot of arguing because there's just so much tension. But like it kind of just the way it evolves, and the conversations that they have with each other, and the cat in here. There's a cat in here. It's so funny, and our hero is just so hot. He's a big boy. He's so hot. He is just over the moon in love with our heroine, and it was just so good. I honestly can't wait to reread this, or just like go back and like read some of my most favorite scenes. But honestly, the whole book is my favorite, so I might as well just reread it. Overall, 5 stars. So good. It is so good. I love it. And all the purple, this one's for the books. This one's gonna be one of my all-time favorite reads of this year. I already know. I love it. Definitely read it. Better than the first one. The first one I still loved. I still think you should read it. But if you're iffy, this is the one that you should read for sure.